Meeting called order at 5:35. Everybody have a chance to read the minutes from March 4th?
Motion to accept.
Second. Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any bills?
There's two.
He's really going.
No more candy for you guys.
This is when he says he'll be here all week.
We have fun around meetings.
I want some candy.
It was, I like this too.
Oh, you were brutally honest. Actually, there's five. There's three paper ones coming due.
Okay. Correspondence?
I'm assuming correspondence is that letter from Mr. Koska.
Yes, so we have a letter from Mr. Koska
Yep.
regarding Mrs. Gonzalez property at 252 Mill Street. And, or 512, sorry,
No.
512.
272.
272?
No,
I know there was a 2 in
You were
there.
close. Okay.
272 mil.
It says 272 million.
Yeah, so basically, that was the subdivision that was filed back in 2006.
Okay.
And they kind of let it sit there. And you cannot all of a sudden update us and say, okay, here's your updated report, and so give us approval. You can't do that. It's more than almost 10 years.
Okay.
So they need to file. And I called his office, and we're not there. So I left a voicemail message that you need to do a new notice of intent with a new drainage report that meets these requirements. Now, if you remember, the last time Mrs. Gonzalez came here, we advised her that as far as the natural heritage is concerned, as long as the outer limits of the project does not expand, the MSA is still fine. And I think they sent her a letter telling her that she's okay in that regard. But in terms of stormwater management guidelines, we need an updated report signed and stamped by the engineer.
They've changed in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But the heritage approval is okay for?
Yeah,
longer than 10
because they
years?
have not expanded
Okay.
the outer limit of the project.
Okay.
When this originally came up, there was a question on,
You had hair.
oh, lots of it, down to my shoulders. There was a question because sewage wasn't in there. Now I believe sewage is in there along Mill Street, so that may change.
Well, it wouldn't change the
It
stormwater.
still wouldn't change the fact that they need to file a new.
No, it won't, but it's part of the, yeah, they just can't use the same old plans. That's
Right.
what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
Yeah, because they came right by there.
Yeah.
So this was an attempt to use the old plans?
Yeah, and the company that did the plan, it's no longer in business. So how do we hold that engineer responsible
Okay.
for the information they've submitted?
So the SC number that they've referenced here really isn't
Even
valid?
DEP doesn't care.
Okay. Okay. So
Too
do
old.
we need a motion to let them know that they need to file a notice of
Yeah,
intent?
to affirm the fact that they need a notice of intent.
I'll make that motion that we send a letter to whom, do we send it to Michael
Michael
The
Costa?
cost guy, because he's the one that sent the correspondence.
That he must file a new NOI.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. To draft a letter, to just let him know that he needs to come before us with a new notice of intent.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any site visits? No.
That'll be the one that I did today for certificate. I guess we'll take it up when you.
We'll get that, okay. On the informal, we still have an enforcement order for RK Associates. That's continued till April 1st, so we'll bypass that. There's not, they can't replant now anyway. There's still a lot of ice and snow on the ground. Do we want to skip the informal and go into the formal for now? We
Yeah.
can talk about that later. Okay. Formal, do we need to read? Or we read all these in
read
already?
that.
Well,
Okay.
except for the new
All right,
determination.
issue a certificate of compliant DEP file, SC 2690725, Walmart, 160 Broadway, map 7, parcel 13, Bowler Engineering.
Yeah, we already did that, so you just sign it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, we have a new request for determination. RDA, 442 New State Highway, map 14, partial 15, Caliber Enterprises, LLC, Ayub Engineering. What do we have on that? Is that you, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
And first we'll need the. Thank you very much. And, say, we need to read the original.
Did you check the date? Are we okay?
Yeah, it was March 4th.
Oh,
Did I say that right? Ayub?
Ayub Engineering.
Ayub.
My name is Tony Frockel, I'm with Ayub Engineering.
We gotta read the
Yes,
addend.
read that, sir.
Oh,
record. Legal notice of public hearing, Conservation Commission, Rainham, Massachusetts. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Rainham local bylaw, the Rainham Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing Wednesday, March 18th, 5:30 p.m. in the Donald L. McKinney Meeting Room in the Rainham Veterans Memorial Town Hall at 558 South Main Street, Rainham, Mass. On a request for determination of applicability filed by C. Anthony Fructil and Ayub Engineering Incorporated, agent for Colbia Enterprises, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The applicant requested determination for the reconstruction of a gas station / convenience store and related infrastructure that is located within 75 feet of a previously identified bordering vegetated wetland at the closest point, and whether it is subject to the jurisdiction under the Wetland Protection Act and the Town of Rainham Wetland Bylaw. The property is owned by Colbert Enterprises LLC and is located at 442 New State Highway, Rainham, Mass. Map 14, Lot 15.
This is the old Shell Station.
Yeah.
Can you see that, sir?
Go ahead, sir.
Sure. Again, my name is Tony Frockel, I'm with Ayub Engineering, we're out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, representing Colbia Enterprises. They're out of Cranston. And the site we're talking about, yes, is the Shell Station located at the corner of Route 44, South Street West. The existing conditions right now, it's not operating, hasn't been for some time. It's about a 1,300 square foot building. It sort of sits facing the corner there. The site has 2 pump islands, 10 parking spaces, 4 underground storage tanks. There's an old ID sign that's still there, and that's about it. It's been unused for quite a while. The proposed, and I'm just going to jump sort of to the proposed revisions to the site, what they want to do with it. They want to put a larger building on the site. The building's about 9,400 square feet. They'll have 4 pumps across the front there with a canopy. They'll replace the underground storage tanks they'll go from 4 tanks to 2 tanks. There'll be a trash corral on the far side that's enclosed. You can see the landscaping of the property there. And where we're at is just a little history of the project. A couple years ago, and I say a couple meaning, I believe in the neighborhood of 15, 17, they were going to do something on this site. And at that time, was identified behind the Papagino's parking lot. You can see that on this. It kind of runs right along here. And we granted that is a historical line. And that would project a wetland buffer onto the corner of the property right here. And what we're just asking is that we can determine if the work that we're proposing not affect that jurisdictional area.
Is there anything different between this plan and the plan that was in here 6 months, a year ago?
Yeah, they made some changes. It's not exactly that one wasn't as detailed as this here. This here has a lot more information.
Okay.
But the area impacted is the same.
Yeah,
And we determined then it wasn't an issue, right?
It's a negative determination.
was that, I don't mean, and that would be great. Did we actually get to a point where we decided that there was no determination?
You know what, I don't think we did.
They withdrew.
You withdrew because of the sign
Yes, sir.
issue.
You and I had a conversation
Yes.
that sort of agreed that that's kind of where we were at,
Okay.
given where the wetland is. I mean, there's a whole parking lot between us and
Right,
the,
I think that's what we had talked about.
Right, but I think the night of the meeting, you came in and someone came in, I think.
I was here.
Okay,
And
and
I was not prepared because we didn't get the green cards back.
Exactly,
And that was my fault.
exactly.
Okay.
And in the
we didn't
meantime, the
continue.
project got withdrawn because of variance issues.
Gotcha.
So we
Is
never,
it the same building or not?
it is the same building, yes. Yeah, the building's at the same place because we requested a variance that we were granted. So the building's at the same place, the trash corral's at the same place, everything's at the same place, except for,
The sign?
No driver? Is there a drive-through on?
the sign is small.
They had one on the other one.
This
Yeah.
door was over here. So that's the only thing that has changed. So,
No, I think last time too.
So you had a drive-through, didn't you?
You were planning on a
Right?
drive-through?
no, we
The
did,
sign was too big.
that is correct. The sign was too big, it is now smaller. And we will present that to the planning board tomorrow night. And there was not I think originally when this was proposed to be redone 10 years ago, they were trying to get a drive-through, but when it came in last year at this time, it did not, so they recognize it's too,
there's no drive-through.
there's no drive-through. There will not be a drive, it's too small.
Are you gonna leave the existing retaining wall?
Yes, sir. The impervious remains the same. The stormwater will get tied into the Mass DOT system after it gets collected.
Just go back to your aerial view. During construction, how much of that back earth here will be disturbed? Anything?
Well, our property line runs right here, right along this line right here.
Okay.
So, this area, well, most of it will be disturbed, if nothing else, just to clear out it's kind of scrub brush back
Is
there.
it?
It's hard to
It's
get
awful.
through.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
is.
look very
Not
nice.
very nice, no.
And as much
You
as,
don't own this part of the green here.
that is correct.
Your property line's right there, that little white one.
Yes, that is correct. It's kind of odd how it cuts through
Yeah.
that piece there. So as much as we can, I say we, my client that owns that property, can take that brush out of there. They're gonna put grass in and add the landscaping that we have shown here. I think it'll dress the site up. There's a fence that runs along part of that. There's a fence that runs back here. It's old fence. I think it does nothing but collect trash, so they'll get that out of there. They'll put the grass in there, put the trees in there, clean up the front, obviously the front piece also, so.
The place has been vacant for quite a while.
Yeah, I think what they're proposing to do will improve the site
Yeah.
environmentally, just in collecting the stormwater and treating it before it's released.
Hazard, do you have any issues?
Well, other than the fact that they need a surveyor's plan from the existing conditions plan.
We can add it.
Make that
Is it okay to make a motion then?
Oh, yeah, well, no, don't give it out until they submit it, until they deliver the,
I make a motion to issue a negative determination.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
so we need the existing conditions plan stamped with just, the responsible surveyor.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can get
For our files, yep.
for your files.
Yep.
And is that something, that I can just return to you?
You can return to me, correct.
So, 168 Sherwood Lane, Map 8, Partial 114, Karen Whitty.
So we do have the as-built plans, they paid their fees. This was an enforcement, actually, as a result of an enforcement action that they had to file in the county news. And the trees are grown, the ground is.
This is, I'm sorry, this is the site visit you
Yeah.
did today?
Yeah,
Okay.
so everything, it's fine. I mean, other than the snow banks, I was able to get into the back from the right side, and, I mean, it's pretty good. And the plan is actually fairly, detailed as far as the trees. Now, the only difference, and I don't have an issue with it, because I don't particularly care for pines. The only issue is that they planted more oak trees than the pines. It was supposed to be 4 pines, they planted 2, supposed to be 5 pines, they planted 2. It was supposed to be 3 oaks, they planted 4, so.
It shouldn't be.
I don't,
big
yeah,
issue.
I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, okay.
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, we're all prepared for you to sign tonight.
That house is so deceptive.
All right.
It's a huge, it's a one-level house. It's got like 3,500 square feet. It's crazy.
How's the swimming pool?
Nice.
Frozen.
They're ice skating today.
But
It's
it's-
only 3 feet deep,
Yeah,
4
but
feet
it's
deep.
really, really strange how you can have that many square feet on one level. It's beautiful.
Okay, back to the informal.
Sure.
We're gonna talk about the bylaw regulation discussion we had last time, when we talked about asking for all the property taxes to be paid before we issue or sign off on a building permit. Azu did some follow-up on that. Can you enlighten us on that?
Yes, as far as the bylaws, you can't do a bylaw like that because you don't have the authority to be a taxing agent. But what our communities have done, like Brockton, is make it a regulation. And in that regulation said, these are the submittal requirements. Like you say, 6 copies of a plan. So one of the submittal requirements under the regulations will be that you provide us
So the regulations
A
are
tax
public
document.
hearing.
a municipal lien certificate.
Okay.
Yeah, the email was sent out on that, and I did a little research. I went online and found the regulations from Brockton, and they actually, in their regulations, they say the applicant must include an original green municipal lien certificate from the city of Brockton showing all taxes and fees have been paid.
Okay, so to put this in as a regulation, that doesn't go to town meeting?
No.
But we need
It's
to
done
open a
here.
public hearing.
Okay, so I make a motion that we schedule a public hearing for our next meeting
Second.
All in favor?
Well, for the purpose of,
for the purpose
Purpose
of
of-
instituting a new regulations.
I have to
relating-
identify what the regulation will be.
and that relating to submittal
Relating to
requirements
submittal requirements.
for a notice of intent.
Okay.
Will we have to do that one with the other article?
No. Not for a notice of intent, because they may come in with an ORAD like somebody else has done. I want it to be
Well,
across the
yeah.
board.
Yeah.
So do not put down.
So just put application.
For any
submittal of
application.
Submittal requirements for all filings.
For all
before the commission.
applications.
Will we have to have a meeting for the other article that I asked to change about the submittal requirements?
That has
We
to
do
go,
it-
no, that's
Yes,
bylaw. That's a bylaw.
But it's
That's a
coming out
regulation.
and it's going into regulation.
No, you have 2 things. One was
Right.
just to make a fix, you're trying to fix a paragraph.
Yes.
Right, that's, you gotta go to the
That's going to town hall,
Yeah,
correct?
the town meeting.
Town meeting, yes,
Yes.
town meeting,
This one doesn't have to.
right.
But there's another one.
But the other one, the one that we are doing, taking that out, and we're going to put it into the regulations in the submittals.
That requires a
That's gonna
town meeting.
require a town meeting.
That's correct.
And so should we
Because that's
wait
a
and do them both
modification.
together after town meeting?
No, because you can get this one going right away.
You can't do that one until the town.
Right, exactly.
And then it has to go through the 60 and 90
That's
days.
that's on the general, yeah.
I was just trying to save
Yeah.
the advertising and all of that stuff. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, but
Because
for
you've
the
gotta put
time,
it,
for the
you gotta put it in
timing
the Gazette
purposes.
twice,
yeah.
and that's why I was just,
All right, so this motion has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll publish that so that we can have it on the docket for the next agenda for the next next conservation meeting.
Yep.
And then we can include that
That'll
in
be
the
the April
regulations.
first meeting.
Yep.
And then we'll tell them, oh, April Fool's Day.
No, we won't.
All right, Mr. Chairman, the other thing I wanted to bring up to you, what we've done is, B&D Construction, we've been pushing to get started, and we're
Yes.
telling them you gotta do X, Y, Z. So what we've done so that we're not having to chase them down, in the existing forms that we use for order of conditions, in the back has a requirement for submitting a receipt of recording. So what we are doing,
Is
what
that
we've
in our
done,
standard?
yes, yeah, so.
It's in our standard order of
Right,
conditions.
so
okay.
what we wanna do is include this as part of the order of conditions when we have special, that you're gonna come in and then you're gonna sign that you read and understand the order of conditions, so that somebody's not coming back and say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't, you know. So if you sign and say you've read it, then you can't come back and say, well, I didn't see it.
Okay, yeah, we did, I did send out a letter to B&D Construction. Is it B&D Construction?
B&D, right, and they actually called it.
Asking them to adhere to the order of conditions, sign off on them through certified mail and get back to us before they start work on their project. They've been inquiring about starting early. They've already, I guess.
Trying to cut trees.
Yeah, but they also submitted their, the COC
the
for
recording.
recording before the 10-day,
Yeah. Waiting for that.
I guess,
Appeal period.
waiting period, appeal period. So we anticipate that they're anticipating getting started sooner than they're really supposed to. We want to make sure that we're not having to chase them down with enforcement orders by having them.
That's a gamble on their part.
It is, and we advise them of that.
If somebody steps up within the 10-day period, which is probably over by now,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
But I
So,
think
I call-
having this sort of document in the files makes sense.
No, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And I called the gentleman that been harassing Gail, Rick, he works for B&D Construction.
Right,
So he said they're not gonna wait to receive the mail, they're gonna come here and sign it
okay,
tomorrow.
so he knows this is coming.
Oh, I told him, I said, you can't even fatten that properly until you do all this.
Okay,
And don't mess with our secretary.
do you want to see
Amen.
that, Lena? Okay. Good, so hopefully that'll avoid future issues going forward.
Good.
she's not a secretary, she's an administrative assistant.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing that transpired since the last meeting is that we reached out again to Randy Buckner, town administrator, on the hunting issue. He's of the opinion it doesn't need to go to legal, that there's always been a policy within the town, going back as far as he can remember, that hunting has been prohibited on conservation land, not town land, conservation land. So there is a difference, because there's some town land that's not conservation land, and vice versa. So if we want to change that, we have the power to have a public hearing and open that up to discussion. His recommendation is probably just to leave it the way it is and not worry about it going forward.
And post, no hunting on our,
Yeah, well, it is
Well,
there
Who's
now.
gonna post it? Well, for it to be posted, it has to be posted every so often, right?
No,
No.
that's
Well,
not,
we
that's
just put the
fallacy.
sign.
No,
Put
but
the sign.
It doesn't have, everybody used to believe it used to have to be every 50 feet. That's
Right.
not true.
As long as it's
As long
posted
as it's
somewhere.
visibly posted, it's up to the person's responsibility to make sure that they're,
They understand that
They
they
understand the
can,
rights.
may or may not hunt on that piece of
So I
land.
guess the basic discussion is, do we let it go the way it is today, or
my,
do we change
my
it?
personal opinion is, there was one complaint, that was it. We're opening a can of worms that maybe we don't want to open at this point in time.
So go with past procedures, which is,
Well,
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone, don't do anything.
yeah, leave it
Leave it
alone.
alone.
If we get a complaint again, we'll deal with the complaint individually.
We've had more than one, right? We've had two. We've had two.
What, is it a father and son that complained, or what?
Two different pieces of property, the same guy.
So it was one guy complaining twice?
No.
No, he just,
Different cell.
put it on me.
So I would just assume, we just let it stay the way it is, and then we'll post it, when we put our new signs up. Not put them on the sign itself, fix, a no hunting sign like they do on the poles, rather than have it formally
Yeah, I just-
on the big sign.
I just have a little bit of an issue with, okay, it's not okay to hunt on conservation land, but it's okay to let your dog run around on conservation land. You know, why is one usage allowed and the other's not? That's my issue.
Why, don't you, you mean the issue of hunting?
I thought we were gonna drop this, because it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, no, I just soon leave it as is and go forward.
I would rather not post anything.
I'm agreed, just handle it as need be. If a complaint comes in, get the information and forward it to the
Town council, let them figure it out.
the environmental police. They're the ones that deal with hunting regulations.
It's a good alternative, yeah.
You know, I just think it's unfair for one usage and not the other. You know, if you say the only thing we're gonna allow there is people walking, okay, let's post no dogs, no ATVs, no hunting.
Well, we are gonna post no ATVs, I mean.
Oh, yeah,
we-
no,
we've
definitely
been-
gotta post that one.
We've
No
been asked
ATV.
by the police department to
Yeah.
help us
But you know,
assist with
you
that.
see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I understand.
I just-
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer, if it's open to one, it's open to all. Even though Gail's giving me the evil eye over there.
Well, as far as we can tell, that we don't have any historical records that indicates
I've never-
when
yeah.
it was started or how long it's been going on.
I mean, I've been
But
here almost
It is on the website that there's
10,
no
12
hunting
years now, I
allowed.
guess, and this is the first time this has ever come up.
But I would not equate letting somebody's dog run
Yeah, but
free
they
and
could be
hunting.
chasing the chipmunks that live on the
You're
conservation
comparing
land.
apples to oranges.
And hunting is going in there
They can
with
be doing
a
duck
to me, a
hunting.
bow and arrow or a
Using a
gun.
dog to do hunting.
I'd rather take my chances with a dog running around than somebody with a gun, but that's my own personal view. But I just don't leave it alone.
You're not gonna believe somebody you will, so.
Motion
comes
to
into-
adjourn?
Motion to table this subject and leave it the way it is?
Yes, you get that motion. yes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I made the motion, so I can't.
I'll second it.
What do you think, Dave?
It's been seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I
Okay.
never let a good argument go.
Okay, so we'll table that and
Good night,
that'll
close.
it'll stay the way it is. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Unless
Anything
Gail
else?
has something.
Any other?
I think we covered it.
Next week, I'll ask Kevin to give us an update on the signage.
Kevin, who?
The illustrious Kevin.
I'll second
Okay.
that motion.
We have a motion?
Chairman, that motion came from the,
Oh, he's
Troublemaker
been-
in the end.
He's been trying to make that motion all day. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm just
Good
gonna
night.
give you